Hello, my name is Joanne Hewins. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today I want to do a video to show you how to make this card. We are using the Simply Zinnia bundle, and let me show you this. This is part of the online exclusives. So you can't find it in a catalog, but just go to stampinup.com, look for Joanne Hewins as your demonstrator, and you'll find it in online exclusives. So here's the stamp set, and then here are the dies. And we are going to be using today mostly the dies. We're going to use one stamp, and this is the saying, sending flowers and thinking of you. So let me set the stamp set aside, and I'm going to pull out these dies, and we'll share those. But first of all, let me show you this card. This is part of a blog hop that I'm going to be in, the North Carolina Demonstrator blog hop, for August. And we always do that on the last Sunday of every month. So let me first of all tell you the colors that I have in the card today. So we're going to be using Melon Mambo. This is Flirty Flamingo. We also have Crushed Curry. We're using Daffodil Delight and Old Olive. So those are the colors. There's actually quite a bit of cutting for this card, and I've done the cutting ahead of time so you don't have to watch me do it, but let me talk to you about it. We're going to do these two pieces as part of our zinnia. So here's two in Flirty Flamingo, and at the same time that I cut those out, I cut out these tinier buds, and let me pull a couple of those up. So I also did these little buds in each of those colors that I showed you, except for the Old Olive, of course. We have centers for each of our zinnias, and I cut those from crushed curry, and use this die for that. So these little dies for here, these for the zinnia. And then there's a little halo of kind of stars on there that we've cut out, and I've done those in Daffodil Delight for each of the flowers. So those are the flower parts, and then we're also going to be using for the buds this little piece right here, and we're also going to use the leaf, which is going to look like this. So I've cut multiples of those. I can tell you what I did cut for this card. For the zinnias, I had 2 flowers in Melon Mambo, 2 in Daffodil Delight, 1 in the Crushed Curry. Now I think that, and 2 in the Flirty Flamingo. Did I say that? Then I had to have centers for each of the flowers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 7 of the little daffodil star-like looking things. And I did end up putting a little bud on the inside of the card as well. So I've got in buds, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, it looks like I have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on here. So I also have a lot of this stuff already assembled, and I didn't want you to have to stand and watch me assemble. But before we get to that part, let's go back up a little bit and let's talk about the base of our card. This is thick basic white, and I'm going to cut this in half for the card. First of all, I'm going to stick it in here at 5.5. The whole piece is 5.5 and 11, and I'm just going to score at the 5.5 mark. Then I'm going to put it in here at 4 1/4. and we'll cut it. And with that, you get 2 card bases, and they're both already scored. So let me set those out of the way, and I'll get this one that I had already done. And I'm also going to be using a piece of the Zinnia, Flowering Zinnia is the name, Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper. This is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I'm going to do first is fold in my paper, and I'm going to look at the little, there's a little side that kind of goes in a little bit, little side that goes up. I'm going to fold the side that goes up, and even though it's scored, I'm going to look and try to match my corners, because people scored that, and people are not always perfect. So I'm going to use a bone filter to burnish my fold. And then we will add some glue to the back of our paper. And that should be good enough. And then we want to make sure that our fold is at the top. So I'm going to, and this is a directional paper, so make sure you're not putting it on upside down or something like that. I like to use the glue because I can move it around a little and make sure, like I don't have that one all the way out to the edge. Okay, and now that I've put it down, it's going to be a little hard to move it around. Let's see. Well, I usually do so much better on that. Okay. And I can see that I have a little bit of white up here at the top, and that is not a desirable look. I also have a little bit of the white showing over here, so I'm going to bring in my cutter, and I'm going to cut that white off of that side. And there's not anything I can really do about the white that's showing up at the top. So we'll just have to move on. So let's go ahead now and put together the flowers that I haven't done already. I'm going to put my dies out of the way and in a safe place so that I don't lose them. Okay, and this one. All right, so I'm going to put these 2 flowers together first, and may get my pieces over here. I'm going to put on the fatter ones, I'm just going to lay them here, and on the back of these that I think seem to look a little bit smaller, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right in the center of that. And I'm not really sure which way they should face, but I'm going to kind of put that and kind of move those so that they go in between the other. And I'm not going to glue down every little piece. Just right there in the center is good enough. Okay, so that's done. We'll take our centers and just add a little bit of glue there. And I did end up, from the fiasco of covering the front of my card, I did end up with glue all over my hands. So hopefully I'll be able to maneuver with that. So there's the center on both of those. And then we want to put our little yellow pieces. So I'm just going to kind of hold that as best I can. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the stars. And I really only want to get, a tiny little bit, if possible. Okay, there's one, and we'll just add it around that. We'll let that sit a minute. And then we'll do the other one. So the hardest part about this card, I would say, is just the cutting out of all those pieces. That did take a little bit of time. Okay, so now we're ready to do this little bud. And I might just put together one of those. Now there's two different pieces. This one looks more like a fan. And I'm going to put just a tiny dot of glue there. Oops. And I'm going to put another little tiny dot on the back of that. So I'm going to pick this one up and just match those little pieces at the end down there. And then I'm going to pick this one up and match that little piece there. Now, unless you may not have noticed, but I want to point out, to me, this has a little smiley face on that bud. And I just love that. One of my favorite things about that whole set. Okay, I think we won't put this one together. If we need to later, we will, but we should have plenty. And I'm going to keep these leaves around. The first thing that I did was try to figure out where I wanted my flowers to go. So I just kind of laid them around. And it's easier since I have one already done. But I kind of laid them around, and I can put these back the way I had that. But trying to spread my colors out a little bit. And so it ended up looking a little bit like this. And I feel like this side is a little bit shorter than that side, and maybe it's just that it's thinner and that's fatter, but I like that part up at the top. So after I got the flowers where I wanted them, I went back and glued those in. So we'll do that, and all I did was glue the center. It didn't bother me if I had some that stuck out over the edges. That's okay. Okay, that's going pretty well, looks like. Okay, couldn't remember if I had done that one or not. Okay. But I decided this would look better if we filled it in. I don't know if you can tell that there's more of a 3D effect on this card front. It might not would mail maybe so great, but if you're handing that to somebody, you can kind of fluff that up. You can fluff up some of the petals if you wanted to, and give it to them like that. Okay, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to fill in with some leaves and with some buds. So for the leaf, I did curl it a little bit. So I'm going to curl it this way and turn it around and curl it again. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue down in there, and I'm just going to stick that leaf back in there and I'm not going to glue it any more than that, just down at the end. So I'm going to, let's see, we'll do another one. And I am curling this from the wrong side on that one. And then I turned it and did it from the right side. And we'll put maybe a leaf down in here. And remember, the only part that I glued in was the center of the flower. So that makes me be able to put some stuff back behind. Okay. I think I want a bud up there, and I had put a flamingo before, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put a mambo. And what I'm going to do is just cut part of that off. I'm going to put a little bit of glue there, and then I'm just going to push that down. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I could, let's see if I've got a poker tools. I could perhaps get that and put that leaf on top. If I did that, I probably would add just a tiny bit of glue or maybe a glue dot in there. Okay, let's put another leaf. Do you like curling things with bone folders? I kind of do. Okay, and I'm going to stick that down in there. Like that. Let's see, what else can I do? Okay, we'll put one down in here. Okay, let's put one of the yellow flowers down in here. And I think I'll trim again, like right in there. And we'll just stick that down in there. Let me hold that down. There you go. And we'll put another leaf down in here. I want to put that one down in there. Yeah. Good thing this glue dries clear. Okay. And I'm going to put another bud down there. We'll slide that down in there. Okay, what do you think? How do you think it's looking? And this may be more of a labor-intensive card, as I have a friend that calls that. You know, some people are worth it. Somebody would even frame that card. You're just no telling how happy you might make someone with a card like this. And that's what we're in the business for, to spread a little bit of happiness, right? Okay, let me do that one in there. I might could even have put a dimensional or something back there behind that one, but really I just not sure it needs it. And let's see, do we need to add anything else? I think on mine I had another one of these. So we'll just see if we can stick another one down in here somewhere. So that's probably enough. So I'm going to just save that yellow one right there to put on the inside of my card. I forgot all about that. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of glue here. And I didn't put a saying on the inside of this one. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do with that. So now we're going to take this and just turn it over, and we're going to cut away the extra pieces. And you know what? I think I'm going to give this whole thing right here a haircut across here. Okay. Oops. Missed a thing. All right. And then we'll go right here. And then there's one more thing we have to remember where we went over the top. So there we go. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, we have one more thing that we're going to do, and that is our saying. And I have a 1/2 inch, is that 1/2? Yeah, 1/2 inch. That is from actually cutting papers to fit on the insides of cards. And we're going to use the Sending Flowers and Thinking of You. I just thought that would work really well on that. Now, you might be thinking, why zinnias? But we are doing flowers, and we're celebrating the end of the summer coming. And this summer, I planted a pack of zinnias. Now, I'm not the best in the world at flowers. I love flowers. I try, but not always that successful. But anyway, my zinnias were wonderful, and I will keep doing that every year. The only thing I did was empty a pack in a planting bed, and I didn't do anything to make them go down. I did know that the rain was coming, and so that's when I did it. And they grew. They are gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And in fact, I have a couple here. Let me finish getting this saying on. I don't know if I can get them in this camera for you to see or not. So the only thing that I'm sticking up on this card is this saying. And I feel like it has a lot of interest. I'm not using any other embellishments or anything like that. I like it the way it is. Now, let's see if I can get these dimensionals to not stick to my hands. There we go. Now, if you decided that something was going up a lot like that and you weren't sure everything was going to be stable, you could take and add a glue dot under there, and that might help that area stay stable for your saying. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use my grid paper. I'm going to sit my card so that it's on a straight line, and I'm going to start at that line and go across. Oops, you know what I didn't do was center it. So I'm going to start it here and go over to here. And I had a problem there. One of my dimensionals came up, and I'm going to put another one in its place. Okay, so what I have left to do is to clip this extra piece. Okay, the card is done. Here's the inside of the other one. Do you like it better with flamingo or daffodil? So I think the card is really pretty easy to make, and I loved it. So let me try. I have a vase of my zinnias here. I don't want to spill water on my cards. I'm going to move them just in case. But look how gorgeous they are. See the little stars on some of those. And I had never really looked before at the zinnia that closely until Stampin' Up came out with the zinnias that we have here. So I'll pull out. Isn't that beautiful? And that's kind of our Melon Mambo that I used. Just so pretty. Well, let me let you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I enjoyed showing you how I made this card. I think it's beautiful, and I hope that you'll try making one for yourself. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Joanne Hewins, LoveToCreate.typepad.com. And yes, I have an online store that you can look at for my blog. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.